You get in your car this morning, and the first thing you notice isn't the traffic. It's the payment. $481, due on the 3rd. Again, you barely think about it anymore. It's just background noise, like a check engine light you've learned to ignore. But here's what you're not seeing. That number was never a fee for driving. It's a fee for a decision you made years ago. And it's quietly rewriting your financial life, one month at a time. The car payment trap isn't about being bad with money. It's about how an entire industry learned that if it can get you to stop asking, "How much does this cost?" and start asking, "Can I afford the payment?" it can sell you almost anything. Here's the reframe. For decades, dealerships sold cars by price. Now they sell you a monthly number. And that shift, from price to payment, is one of the most quietly profitable innovations in modern retail. According to Federal Reserve data, Americans now carry more than $1.6 trillion in auto loan debt. And according to Edmunds, the average new car loan recently stretched past 68 months, nearly 6 years, with a growing share of loans now reaching 72 to 84 months. Let's slow down on that number, because it matters more than it sounds. 60 months, 72 months, 84 months of payments on an asset that's losing value every single day you own it. Why would anyone agree to that? Because of a shift in how the sale gets framed. And there's real research behind why it works so well. Behavioral economist Richard Thaler, who won a Nobel Prize for his work, on how people actually make financial decisions, instead of how textbook models assume they should, describes something called mental accounting. The way people sort money into separate mental buckets instead of treating it as one pool. A car payment gets filed into the monthly bills bucket, right next to your phone plan and your streaming subscriptions. It stops feeling like debt. It starts feeling like a subscription to a car. Researchers Drazen Prelek and Duncan Symester, studying what they called the pain of paying, found that people will pay significantly more for the exact same item when the payment is separated, decoupled, from the moment they actually feel the cost. A large upfront number hurts. A small recurring number barely registers at all. Dealers figured this out long before economists gave it a name. So here's what actually happens the moment you walk onto a lot. You tell the salesperson your budget isn't a price, it's a payment. Something around $450 a month feels manageable. The salesperson now has enormous room to work with. They can raise the price of the car. They can stretch the loan term from 60 months to 72. They can roll in the negative equity from your last car, the amount you still owed after trading it in. A practice the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has flagged as a fast-growing problem, now showing up in roughly 1 in 5 trade-ins. All of it gets absorbed into that same $450 number. And you'd never notice, because the payment stayed identical, while the total cost of the car quietly grew by thousands of dollars. Then come the add-ons, gap insurance, an extended warranty, paint protection you didn't ask for. Each one, priced on its own, would make you hesitate. But stretched across 72 months, gap insurance might only add $9 to your payment. The extended warranty might add $14. Individually, each number is almost invisible. Stacked together, they can quietly add several $1,000s to what you actually owe. Money you agreed to, without ever seeing a total. This is the same mechanism Daniel Kahneman described in his work on loss aversion. Framed as a tiny monthly increase, the option feels almost free, even when the real cost is anything but. Picture two people buying the identical car. Both want the same $32,000 SUV. The first negotiates the price down, finances for 36 months at a modest rate, and owns the car outright in 3 years, paying roughly $3,000 in total interest. The second focuses entirely on the payment. stretches the loan to 72 months at a slightly higher rate, because longer loans usually carry one, and rolls in 3 years and dollars of negative equity carried over from a previous vehicle. Same car, same lot, same afternoon. But the second buyer will pay close to $9,000 in interest alone, stay underwater, owing more than the car is worth, for years longer, and will likely trade in again before the loan is even paid off, restarting the entire cycle with fresh negative equity attached to the next car. The gap between them isn't the car. It's $6,000 that vanished into a structure, not a purchase. That's the counterintuitive twist most people never see. The car payment trap isn't triggered by buying an expensive car. It's triggered by financing any car the way you finance a subscription, treating the term length as flexible and the payment as fixed. Stretching the loan doesn't make the car cheaper. It hides how expensive it already was. Thomas Stanley, who spent decades studying America's wealthy for research that became the millionaire next door, found something that surprised almost everyone. Most self-made millionaires didn't drive luxury cars financed on long loans. They overwhelmingly bought modest, often used vehicles, and paid them off fast, sometimes in cash. Not because they couldn't afford new cars, but because they understood something the payment-first buyer doesn't. A car is a depreciating asset. The goal was never to minimize the monthly number. It's to minimize the total amount of money that leaves your life for something losing value every single day. Now think about your own car payment, sitting in your bank statement right now. Maybe it doesn't feel like a trap. It feels normal, because everyone around you has one too. Cox Automotive reports that the average new vehicle payment recently crossed $700 a month, and used car payments aren't far behind anymore. When almost everyone is caught in the same structure, it stops looking like a trap and starts looking like a fact of life. And this is where the modern mirror gets uncomfortable. Because the logic didn't stay parked in the driveway. The same payment-first thinking now sells you a phone over 24 months, a mattress over 12 payments, a pair of sneakers through a buy now pay later app split into 4. Your brain runs the exact same mental accounting Thaler described every single time. Not, what does this cost? Just, does this fit in the monthly bucket? The car loan didn't just cost you money. It trained the question you ask before every purchase that came after it. But it isn't a fact of life. It's a financing structure that was optimized, term by term, to keep your attention fixed on one small number, while a much larger number grows quietly in the background. The total interest, the rolled over debt, the years spent owing more than the car is worth, and the way out isn't complicated, though it is uncomfortable. It means asking a different question at the exact moment the salesperson wants you distracted. Not, what can I pay monthly? Instead, what is this car actually worth, and how quickly can I own it outright? Run the math before you sign anything. A $30,000 car financed at 72 months can cost you several $1,000s more in interest than the same car financed at 48 months. Even at the same rate, simply because the loan hangs around for 2 extra years. Shorter terms force a smaller, more honest price into view. Longer terms exist to make almost any price feel affordable, which is exactly the point. There's a simple check that cuts through almost all of it. Before you agree to anything, ask for the total amount financed and the total of all payments over the life of the loan, not the monthly number. The two totals, side by side. Dealerships are required to disclose both, but almost nobody asks to see them, because the entire sales conversation is designed around the monthly figure instead. The gap between those two totals is the real price of stretching the term. Sometimes it's a few $100s. Sometimes, once add-ons and rolled over debt are included, It's the price of an entire second car you'll never own. None of this means you should never finance a car. Most people will. It means the question you lead with determines everything that happens after it. Lead with the payment, and you hand the entire negotiation to someone whose job is to make any price feel small. Lead with the price, the term, and the total, and the payment becomes a detail instead of the whole conversation. So this morning, when you get in your car and glance at that number due on the 3rd, look past it for a second. Ask what it's actually made of, the price, the term, the trade-in debt, the years. Because the real cost was never the payment. It was always the years quietly built into it, waiting for you to notice.